Welcome back to Lowcountry View of Hilton Head. My name is Earl Yates, I'm your host, and my guest is still Salli Ann Robinson, the Gullah cooking diva. And of course, this is a part of our Native Islander series. And Salli had discussed in the first part basically how it was to grow up on Daufuskie, which was and still is a stone's throw away from Hilton Head, but yet through still technology had not arrived there, and they had a simple life. She talked about, growing up and going to school and having Pat Conroy as a teacher, and we'll start from there, Salli. Okay. We left off, like I said, with your adventures of Daufuskie.
Yes.
Before it was developed, or it's still not very developed now.
No, and I mean, in certain areas, it's really truly still the same Daufuskie that I remember, because when my grandmother's house is, it's the very same area. I mean, little trees more have grown up because we're not there, trampling the grounds like we used to, but it's still pretty much a very comfortable place. When things are really, really tough, and when I go home, I can actually go there and it's serenity, it's peace. I go to Daufuskie, I can still hear the echoes and the voices of people on that island that I grew up with. It was a time when, it was nothing but love for one another. Folks took care of each other. Folks respected one another. Nobody was better than the next one. They shared. And that's the world I grew up in until, when I left Daufuskie, I never knew they were hungry people. I never knew there were all this racial stuff going on, and it was really, an eye-opening for me, because I'm like, what is wrong with these people, Like, what's happening here? I want to go back home. It was peaceful, and it was just so different that it made me really stop to think how blessed, those of us who was there and came there and actually loved it and wanted to come and didn't want to stay, away from the hustle and bustle and the rushing and I don't have time to do this. We made time for each other. And even to our cooking, we took the time to do things with love and patience. We perfected. It wasn't about throwing something together and just saying, here. My mom always said, anybody can boil water, but it takes a good person who loves to cook and know how to cook, to want to cook it the right way. But just,
So basically, now you've taken all this. Mom has taught you that, take your time, Salli.
Yes.
Well, if you want this to come out nice, you have to love it. You have to appreciate it.
Yes.
So when did you get that passion or come to the decision that this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life?
Well, I always had it in me. So that's something that never went away, because even as a young mother, I cooked and I enjoyed it. It was years once I left Daufuskie. I lived on the mainland, and I just missed people coming and visiting and checking in on each other. So I would invite folks over to my house and ask them if they would like to come and have something to eat, and I'll ask them, y'all come on by, let's visit. And they'll pretty much say, oh, we don't have time. So my word back would be, well, I'm cooking. And they say, what time? So, and we would get together and just have fun. And then I got the was told, saying, Salli, you need to do a cookbook. And I said, what? I know everything up here. And that's how it was taught, from knowledge of paying attention, no books or anything. But it became fascinating when I find out that folks did not have a clue about some of the ways of the way we cook, for the food to taste the way it did. And it wasn't just about, going to the stove and frying up something. It was that genuine love and time and the way you did it. If you fried chicken, you season it, you flour, you shook it in that brown bag, and you cook it up in that lard. And you can smell the aroma everywhere you go down the road, and folks know, yeah, Miss Bertha cooking today, some fried chicken and smiling at the same time. Happy in that kitchen, not angry, not frustrated. And today, that's how I cook. I cook with a smile on my face and happy in that kitchen.
Now you have 2 cookbooks later.
Yes.
Appearing in Pat Conroy's cookbook, aside having your own too.
Yes.
And just trips to D.C.,
Yes.
you know, doing all this. I mean, just,
Yes.
you're a famous woman now. And how has that impacted your life in a positive way?
I love people. And, you know, folks still today say, oh, you're famous. And I said, I am. Because to me, I'm just me, and I just love what I do. I love people, and I love sharing it. And I want folks to know that, you know, it takes 3 muscles to smile, where it takes 33 to frown. Well, I like the 3 part. So I'm happy. I do what I love, and I share it. And the cookbook itself, may I?
Absolutely. Take some.
My first one is Gullah Home Cooking the Daufuskie Way, dear to my heart, with
Yes, there you go, little higher.
Dear to my heart, forward by Pat Conroy. They're story cookbooks. They have pictures. And when I wrote this book, it was mainly because, as I was told, you needed a cookbook. And it was like a seed planted, and it kept growing, and I decided, okay, go for it. And the second one, which is called Cooking the Gullah Way, Morning, Noon, and Night, and this one was due to after I had an incident, and 2:05, I was laying on my back, and this I wrote because I needed folks to know that it was more about just cooking, but a way of life. And this has 100 recipes. This has 75 recipes and 25 home remedies. And that's when I wanted to share this book. And I have another one I'm working on. Can't give you the title yet.
Well, you know, that's,
Yes.
and you've done so many other special things.
Yes.
Like you have your postcards of
I do.
Daufuskie, which
Yes,
are
I do.
pretty fantastic. I've never seen a postcard from Daufuskie before.
There you go.
And then you also have, of course, your brochures.
My brochures.
But I'm a reader. I'm an avid reader. And so, you know, having your bookmarks is pretty
Yes.
fantastic. And the best part about it is behind every bookmark, there's a recipe.
Yes, there is.
Come on. Such a great idea. Not only are you a strong entrepreneur and a cook or chef, I mean, Salli, you're such a wonderful person to be around. And that speaks, you know, just volumes of growing up on Daufuskie.
Well, we were taught to love folks as you would want to be loved back. And I took that with me. Yes, they're part of my life where things have, you know, not went the way that I would have liked it to, but then that's part of life, ups and downs, and that's the part we were taught even in school and Sunday school, you know, trials and tribulation. But I always enjoyed taking negative and turn it to positive, because I find it that if there's a will, there is a way. And I just love so much reflecting on the way of growing up on Daufuskie, because it has made me feel proud to be who I am from there, from the low country itself. And just every day I'm just thankful.
And now you're with the Chamber.
Yes.
And how long have you been with the Chamber?
Well, I actually joined them last year, and I was at the Taste of the Season, had a wonderful time there.
The eating side,
Oh,
cooking?
yes.
Oh,
Yes.
So, and you enjoyed it?
Oh, it's very much so. I had that smothered shrimp and grits for them.
And now you have, alongside you, you know, you have Chef David Young,
Yes.
who does
yes.
his, it's
Very proud of him.
Yes, he's doing so
Very.
well. I'm so happy. This
Yes.
month he's in Bon Appetit,
All
and to
right.
see that I know both of you, I mean, it's so special. I mean, it's so wonderful to see that you have Native Islanders taking on the world. I mean, there's going to be a very short period of time, remember, Salli, before, you know, when the Mitchellville project goes through, that everyone is going to be asking for your time. Are you going to be able to do that and still remain so humble?
You know what? Yes. Because all I have to give is love, and I feel that with that you can conquer the world. You don't have to feel insecure. You know, I know who I am. I know what I'm about, and I just put it out there and let folks, you know, feel it and relate to it and enjoy it with me.
Well, you know, that's great and all with their success, but feed me, Salli. That's what I would say. You know, my part of it is feed me. I understand how. I mean, you're a wonderful person, Salli,
That I
and I
do.
think that's what I enjoy the most.
Yes.
And I think it relates on the camera just as well to see how special you are. Thank you, Salli,
Thank you.
for your time. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Well, this has been Lowcountry View with Earl Yates. It's been a pleasure. I've enjoyed myself. Now you can, what's your website, Salli?
www.salli with an I-E and Robinson.com, and you can pull me up on many different events and things there. And then you can check me out on Facebook.
So there it is. You have all the questions
Yes.
and answers that you could possibly have wanting to be a Gullah cooking diva yourself.
Yes.
Have a good night. Thank you very much.